Do I need term life insurance or do I need whole life insurance? I'm Taylor Casper, owner and managing attorney of Legacy Estate Planning, where we help families leave a legacy for their kids so they can have the peace of mind that they truly deserve. So, term life insurance, whole life insurance, how do you know which one you need? Well, first of all, what is life insurance? It's a product that you can buy that will create cash for your family members or whatever beneficiaries that you choose upon your death. Now, how it creates the cash, when the cash is paid out, how much this costs is all dependent upon whether you choose to use term life insurance or whole life insurance as the vehicle that you're purchasing. Term life insurance is kind of like renting a house. You pick a term, so 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years, and you agree with the insurance company that you'll pay them premiums for that period of time. And if you pass away within the term, your beneficiaries that you name will receive the face value of that policy upon your passing. So I could go out and buy a 20-year term life insurance policy worth $250,000, and if I pay my premiums and pass away before the 20 years is up, my kids would get the face value, the $250,000 paid to them from that policy. But it's kind of like renting, because once the 20 years is up, then that benefit goes away and you don't get your money back for surviving. Whole life insurance is a policy that you buy and you pay the premiums forever. It's kind of like owning a home. So you either pay the premiums all the way up until you pass away, or there are different products you can buy, but you can agree that you'll buy a policy and you pay premiums till you're for 20 years or till you're 65 or whatever, and the face benefit will be paid upon your death. So that one's more like owning a home, because you pay money and then once you continue to pay the money over a period of time, and then whenever you die, if it's outside of 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever that term might be for term life insurance, that death benefit will get paid to your beneficiaries. So that's the other option you have. But there are some pretty stark differences between a term life and a whole life policy. The number one biggest difference that we hear people talk about is the cost. It costs quite a bit more to have a whole life insurance policy for a lot of people. That's because the benefit isn't limited to some small window of time where you likely won't die. Because if I'm 35 and I buy a 20-year term, it's very unlikely that I'll die within those 20 years. And so they can afford for me to pay much less money to the insurance company for that 20 years. It might be something really negligible, like $30 or $35 or something like that a month, depending upon the term and the amount of insurance that I have purchased. And the insurance company can afford that little bit of money each month, because the likelihood after they've health screened me and I've answered the questions on the questionnaire that I die by the time I'm 55 is very small. Some percentage, like only 3% of all term policies that are underwritten get cashed in. So you can see why it would probably be much cheaper to get a term life insurance policy. A whole life insurance policy is oftentimes much more expensive because of the fact that if you're offering me coverage forever, then I'm going to cash in at some point, or my family's going to cash in at some point, and you will have to pay them a large amount of money upon my death. Well, in order for insurance companies to not go out of business, they would have to recoup the money or somehow earn money on my premiums in order to be able to pay out a large death benefit when I'm gone. Well, how do you decide between which one you want to get? I think an analysis that you need to do is you probably need to discern how much insurance do you need. If you're married, do you need to make sure that if you die within a certain amount of time, your life insurance would be able to pay off the mortgage on your home? Your spouse would be able to continue to send the kids to daycare. You could continue to make payments on or completely eliminate any debt service that you may have. You want to be able to ensure the standard of living that your family has always enjoyed. So you need to look at how much money you need from a death benefit if you were to die. And then once you have a number in mind, you you can take a look at what your budget can afford as it relates to a monthly premium for a whole life insurance policy versus a term life insurance policy, because one's definitely going to be cheaper. Some other things that you might want to consider is the reason behind the policy. If you just want to be insured for a little bit of time because you know my assets are growing, I'm going to be able to self-insure in the future because I'll have plenty of money, I'll have investments and retirement accounts and cash on hand or a big house and other assets, and I just need to know that if something happens within 15 years, my family will be good. Well, then maybe that's a term insurance policy for you to bridge the gap between now and where you see yourself going financially in the future. Maybe you don't know that that's the situation for you, and maybe you want something that doesn't have a lot of risk but still has the investment component and maybe is building cash value or an asset you can take a loan against over time. So maybe that's a whole life policy for you. But it is something that you don't just, shoot in the dark at what you're going to do when it comes to insuring your life for the benefit of your children and your spouse in the future. One, you need a plan. You probably need some type of insurance unless you already have your ducks in a row. You've got money, you've got your estate plan, you are self-insured. If that's not you, or if you don't know, you probably need some sort of coverage. After that, you need to determine your needs and the amount and what you can afford and what your goals are for getting that coverage. So if you found value in this video and you learned something new today about what you should be looking for and you want to know about getting life insurance, then make sure that you subscribe to this channel, you like this video, and you turn on notifications so you never miss valuable content from me.